I promised this week we'd do some straight pool, and here we go. The good news is I'm going to show an entire race to 3 straight pool match. The bad news is it's Joshua Filler, and the match takes 12 minutes for a 3-0 match. I think there's some good lessons. There's going to be some beginner stuff and some super advanced stuff. Joshua won the leg, so he gets the break. How do you judge a break shot, the quality of a break? The answer is the corner ball, which I believe was this 15. Now this 9 ball popped out as well, but if this corner ball of the rack comes over to the diamond, a diamond or past on the bottom rail, that's not a good break. In fact, really good quality breaks nowadays, they're hitting that second ball so thin that the corner ball comes straight down and doesn't get as close to the opponent's pocket. The other way that you judge it is how close the cue ball is to the rail and how well the balls near your pocket are hidden behind it. So this is 50-50. Joshua's certainly done better breaks. He did a fairly good job of keeping this corner ball from coming out, but this is a difficult situation for the incoming player in that he's kind of doubled up. You can see the cue ball's here, and he's doubled up on the 5 to the 12. So what are you going to do? It's kind of a difficult situation, and he's studying it. There are 2 philosophies, and that's the one thing I want to mention. This is kind of One Pocket 101, but there's 2 philosophies for the break shot. And the one I think that's espoused in the Robbins One Pocket books is you want to be aggressive after the break shot. It's generally considered that the breaker in One Pocket has an advantage of 2 balls, 1 to 2 balls on that break. And so you're trying to recover from that disadvantage by responding a little bit aggressively. The breaker is often going to have a ball on each side of their pocket. So your goal shouldn't be, oh, let me just get out of the break, let's play safe. And if you're thinking along those terms of responding aggressively, you're trying to turn it around by at least removing one of these balls. Moving a ball, whether it's up table or over to your side. But the priority always is the cue ball. Where's the cue ball going to go? So when I'm looking at this break shot, there isn't really any advantage to any possibility of doing anything here. You could play a stop shot on the 8 and hide the cue ball in the top of the rack. I mean, that's just one way to get out of the inning. It doesn't really help your situation or advance much unless if you think that the 14 ball is going to hit the edge of the 13 and go back here and knock something closer to your hole. Right now, notice within the 1 diamond area, your opponent has 2 balls. And within the 1 diamond area of your pocket, if you're the incoming player, you have no balls. So you really got to evaluate in those terms what your opportunities are. The other way to respond to the break shot when you're the incoming player is a more passive way. And believe it or not, Efren Reyes often took a more passive response to the break shot. Usually he would not try to aggressively get out of the break or move balls on the first shot after the break shot. He would position the cue ball very precisely and then begin to move more aggressively on his next innings. And in that respect, one of the best shots here would be to hit the 11 ball, and I think this is what John Buffy shoots, would be to hit the 11 and try to bring the cue ball underneath the 12. Now, just saying that isn't enough. If you really want to advance your One Pocket game, you've got to be very precise, and that's why I say One Pocket is all about control of that cue ball. Because let's say that you hit the 11, you come under the 12, and the cue ball comes over here. Well, you're leaving a window for your opponent to see balls and do something, as opposed to playing it with the speed control, and this is really difficult, really fine speed control, to leave the cue ball just here, just on the backside of the 12. Look at the difference if the cue ball stops here versus here, only 2 or 3 inches apart. It's a tremendous difference. That's the difference between amateur One Pocket and advanced or professional One Pocket. So let's see the aggressive. What would be the aggressive shot here? It's hard to tell because we can't go look at from the cue ball, but I think it's possible to shoot the 3 ball directly at the 15. The 15 would go this way, the 3 ball would go this way, and then you have to stun follow the 4 ball forward. Now, it's not likely that the 12 is going to stay there, that the 15 might clip it, and the cue ball will get away. This is an aggressive shot, and it's not recommended for a lot of players unless if you have real good control of the cue ball and aim. That's just one possibility. Again, if you stand behind the cue ball, that might not be available. I'm not sure. It's just hard to tell. But what I'm saying is that's more along the lines of the type of thing that an aggressive response would lend towards. I think I would choose the shot that John Buffy chooses, which is the passive. I call it passive, but it's this very strategic move. Yeah, he's taking a look at it right now. And I'm going to advance. We're not going to watch the whole 12 minutes of this. I'm going to speed through it, different parts. But now watch how he shoots this. Look at the cue ball. It's heading straight at the 12. It hits the 12, and he doesn't directly sell out. But the lesson here is when you're going to shoot a shot like that, you need to stand here, fully upright, just like any other pool shot. Give it a couple seconds. Look at the angle. Really think about, are you hitting center ball? Are you hitting with some follow to get the cue ball to go forward to the tangent line? Exactly how are you going to hit that, and what is the speed control needed to get the cue ball to go under and park itself right here, not over here? And so that's the lesson there. You've got to take that time, just like you would if you were playing 9 ball and you're shooting trying to pocket a ball. Take your time behind the shot when you execute. This was a very rushed shot, and so we got a rushed result, which was leaving Joshua Filler in full view of these balls, and he's just got all kinds of opportunities. I'm going to advance to the next point of interest. I believe that Joshua kicks at, I'll let him kick at this ball. So, I mean, that shot didn't have to go that way. It's an opportunity. He wasn't able to bank the ball or bank the 5. But whether the cue ball goes this way or the other way, look where the 9 is. There's now 3 balls within the rack area. And sure, he might have scratched, but coming off the top of the stack and going up table, I mean, there's no sellout there, and it can only be good. You're hiding the opponent. So here you can see him taking a look, and he's in a really tough spot, and he brought it on by not executing his shot more carefully. The only shot really that he has is to cut the 6 into the 5 and bring the cue ball underneath and try and hit the 12 and keep the cue ball there. Now, I wouldn't shoot this with the intent of taking balls out of the pocket. You're just trying to get the cue ball safe, because if you get the cue ball underneath the 13, it's going to bump the 12 and you're not going to sell out a shot. I mean, really, this is desperate times, and really that's all you got to do. But once again, we kind of see a rushed shot. Now, the result of this shot is that, and he kind of twisted. There was a lot of hope there and not a lot of planning. But the result of this shot, when you're an advanced player like Joshua Filler, when you come to the table, if you have a direct line of sight to see 1 ball, which I think you can see this 13, you're saying to yourself, I'm out. I'm going to run 8. That's the way these advanced players think. They're not going to just pocket these 4 balls and then bank the 11 or play safe somehow. They want to run 8 from here, and Joshua does. And so how do you do that? And you need to play straight pool so you can learn how to do that. But really, this one's kind of obvious. There's 4 balls that go. These 2 go easily. This is a combination. Both of these balls are clear. Both of these balls are clear. You kind of have a wall of balls that are all pointed at this pocket. So what Joshua wants to do is, this is a straight pool principle, clear the paths to the pockets. So you need to clear these 4 balls first. So he's going to shoot this ball, get his ball in there. Let's let him shoot. Get his ball in there, clear those 4, and then get his cue ball outside. I think he actually has to curve the cue ball around this 14 to get at the 13, because he looked at the 8-9 combination just now and what would happen if his cue ball ran into the 4. But he's making the decision to kind of curve around and shoot this 13 drawback. Nice shot. Well, even opened up balls a little bit more. Now he needs to shoot the combination. Notice he hit it really softly. He can shoot either of these balls near his pocket. He'll choose this one. He didn't try to go up table. Remove the balls to the pockets. Now, I don't remember how he gets his... Oh, yeah, he's got a very slight angle. That was hard to control, but he's got a very slight angle. He's going to spin the cue ball through this gap just to get it out there. And now that's 4 balls. So now you look at the table and decide, where do I want to go? Because if you're running these balls, you need 4, right? Well, there's 4, okay? But guess what? If you shoot this ball and these 2, then you can play position for one of these. And that's 4 as well. So really, if you're any kind of a straight pool player, this is rudimentary. You just bear down and run out, and you can choose your pattern. Depending on the angle of your this 5, you might shoot these balls. You might even shoot one of these, come over for the 14, and then shoot the 10, come over here for the 14, and then come up for the 9. So all of your balls are here, or you may go the other way. But that's the mindset. So Joshua Filler, his mindset is nothing but, I'm running 8 and out here. That's just it. And it's child's play because the balls are just lined up. It's child's play if you're accomplished at straight pool. Notice that he played that shot to keep a low angle on the 3 so his cue ball can move this way. If he had a shallower angle, he would have played the 8 next. Actually, is that 8 or no? I guess he got 8, so he didn't even need more balls. So that's the first game. Let's go ahead to the second game. Buffy's breaking from the same side of the table, and that's a fairly good break. It's not bad at all. And the reason why, once again, the corner ball did not come out to this area. So that's goal number 1. And then the cue ball's in not a bad spot. It could be closer to the rail, but this isn't bad at all. 2 balls within the 1 diamond zone, no balls within the 1 diamond zone. So this is okay. What isn't good is that Joshua has a good view of the 13, and he can put the cue ball right down there tight. Or he could choose a more aggressive route, maybe banking the 14 into the stack, something like that. I don't remember what he does. So in this situation, you have a choice. Are you gonna try to aggressively get out of the break shot, or are you gonna reply passively? I think that this is better. We can look from this point of view. I think this layout lends itself towards a more aggressive approach. Because the cue ball's here, you have access to the bottom of the cue ball. You have 2 balls at the top of the rack to play to. I don't think there's a real good reason to go passively. I think maybe Joshua does do that, though. I wouldn't. In this instance, I like banking the 14, and you can shoot straight at it, and you're going to bank the 14 this way with a little bit of a medium stroke and a stun forward. Now, the cue ball is of primary importance, because if you stun the cue ball to here, a lot of players are going to cut the 2 or carom the 2 off the 12. And if you don't get the cue ball right on the rail, then you just plain have sold straight out. So this aggressive shot only works if you have really good control of the cue ball. And frankly, I see banking the 4 ball, the 14, I'm not drawing my line very well, cutting the 14 a little to the left so that it comes up. He might even hit this part of the stack and not the 13. And you're going to get some good action knocking balls. But the reason why you would do that is so that you can stun the cue ball this direction so it doesn't end up here. That's the aggressive response. Let's see what Joshua chooses. I think he does do the passive one, which is powerful as well. He does, and he tried to add something. Did you notice that? And he sold straight out. One of the principles of One Pocket is when you make a decision on what to shoot, before you shoot it, look and see if you can add something to the shot. What Joshua tried to add, I believe he was trying to bank the 13 off the 4 to knock the 4 ball over to his side as well. And then the 13 would have come off this way. In other words, he was not trying to just put the cue ball here. He wanted to add something, and the add was to move balls from his opponent's side, even though they were balls, up here on the rail. That's smart one pocket, very smart one pocket. Now, in doing so, he lost his cue ball, but he didn't have to. If he would have played the cue ball better, imagine if the shot went the way he wanted. The cue ball would be here, the 4 ball would be over here and possibly knock a ball farther, and the 13 would have been this way and maybe move the 1. That would have been a very powerful shot that accomplished a lot. As it is, he sold out. And Buffy comes to the table and does not shoot this 12 ball. And I think that's a mistake. A lot of players aren't going to shoot this 12, especially, let me pause this from this camera angle, especially right-handers, because as a right-hander, you got to stand at the head of the table with a bridge and aim this way. Oh my goodness. That's really tough. But I'm only going to shoot one of these balls in this direction if I think it's a powerful move that I can control the cue ball. The reason why even as a right-hander, and I know you think, oh, I'm 6'5", I can reach it. I can't reach this. There's no way. I'm using a bridge. The reason why you shoot the 12 is if you miss it, you're going to hit this point and hang it. But the reason why you shoot it is the cue ball does this. That's why you shoot it. It's a powerful move, even if you don't make the ball. You might even shoot it without trying to make the ball. You're shooting it with cue ball control. It naturally goes up, table, and down. You really want your speed control to get the cue ball behind the stack, which is diamond and a half to 2.5. And I think that's the correct shot, in my opinion. Let me know in the comments if you don't think it's the right shot. The shot that Buffy plays is fine. He's shooting the 6 into the 10, but you have to shoot this with care. And he didn't really take the time. I bet he's a much better player than showed in this video. I would be intimidated playing Joshua Filler as well. But you got to take time and say to yourself, am I banking the 10 into the 11? Or am I banking the 10 past the 11? In this case, I would bank the 10 past the 11. It looks to me like, well, first of all, you have a good chance of pocketing the 12 or getting it close to your pocket. But by doing that also, you can follow the cue ball better up table and get the 6 ball to go up this way. The result of his shot, I think, is a little bit careless. Look where the 10 ball banked. I mean, if he hit harder, it might have come back and sold out a shot directly. So not a very well-managed shot. Did you notice what Joshua looked at initially? Did you see that? He walked over and took a look. There's a bank shot here where you can bank the 13 with reverse to bring it back into the 6 and bring the cue ball back over here. That's a great shot. He doesn't choose that. I don't remember what he does choose. Let's let him shoot. Oh, he's choosing a 3-rail kick behind the 12. A lot of players nowadays are opting for this choice a lot more often. And even if they don't get a rail, now that wasn't executed very well. I think it's obvious he was trying to get the cue ball behind the 12. And he was quite content with taking a foul. He didn't need to get a rail. You have a good chance of getting a rail when you come in here, even trying to get behind the 12. But even not getting a rail, he's fine with that. As it is, this is a weak shot, and I'm thinking I've got another good opportunity. And if I'm Buffy, and I think he's shooting it, you got to look at where the cue ball is going. And this is one thing where straight pull once again helps out a lot, because in straight pull you're always opening up clusters. So once again, I'm overcutting the 12, over banking it, because if I go 2 rails, I got a great chance of hanging this stripe right in my pocket or pocketing it. And if you play a lot of straight pull, you know that your cue ball is going to carry him into the 9 and go this way. So you can stun it forward with control. The result of Buffy's shot is not good. By hitting the 10 ball too full, his cue ball went through the 9 instead of, in this direction, instead of caroming off over this way. So once again, Joshua Filler's come to the table. and with a shot at his pocket, an open ball. And what does the table present? There's one ball, 2, 3, 4, 5 balls that go right now. But he's not thinking about that. He wants to pocket them all. Any of these balls is going to give you an opportunity to nudge the 7 or the 9 or do something to open these balls. But he doesn't have to do that. He's got the 5 I mentioned, and then there's 6 and 7, and maybe he can come back behind this ball short rail. I'm going to let this play. What Joshua does here is pretty incredible. If you haven't seen Joshua play one pocket, when the first time I saw him play was just after 2019 when everybody had to go home. You know what I'm talking about. And Joshua and Pia didn't make it. They couldn't get back to Germany. They ended up at Roy's Basement. It's look it up on Facebook. Great channel, lots of play. Roy's Basement. He's got a really nice diamond in his basement, and Joshua and Pia stayed there for I don't know, it was a couple of months, and he set him up with a lot of action. I got to stop right here. What would you do with this shot? Where Joshua ended up here, he really didn't have a choice. He didn't want to go straight up into the 3. He could have ended up with nothing. So he played position to get here, and he's got a slight angle. Now, I think most one-pocket players are going to pocket this 13. We're just going to cinch it. We don't want to miss this ball because it's a sellout if you don't. If you don't pocket the ball, but you're going to follow the cue ball forward, play a bank shot on the 11 or this stripe, and control the cue ball. And if you make the bank shot, then you can continue running. I think that's what most one-pocket players would shoot, even a lot of advanced one-pocket players. Joshua Filler sees an opportunity to get on the 14 by power draw and spinning the cue ball away from the side pocket up here. He wants to get a lot of spin on the cue ball so it comes wide off this head rail and gives him the shot on the 14. And then he will have an angle for his cue ball to move back this way and continue running balls. This is not a shot for most people or for anyone weak of heart. Wow, you just got to have so much confidence. He hit it just a little bit soft, but that's not going to stop him. He's got a cut shot. I was saying, Roy's Basement, look it up on Facebook. So this is 2-3 years ago now. But Joshua Filler played the one-pocket ghost and was beating the one-pocket ghost, running 15 balls quite often. An incredible feat of shot making. Now, you notice where the cue ball ended up? He sold out if he missed that shot. He wasn't going to miss. Didn't even enter his mind. Look at that shot. The only ball he had an opportunity to see, super thin cut shot, once again, total offense to send the cue ball all the way up table and back down. And again, on this shot, total offense. Most other one-pocket players are going to be looking at some type of move, taking this ball out away from your opponent's pocket, keeping the cue ball here. You've got an advantage. You're ahead by 3 balls. Is it 4 balls that he's made? Not Joshua. There's a carom shot, and if you play straight pool, you're going to be more familiar with these. But this carom shot is almost on, and a follow stroke will cause the cue ball to come a little bit short of that tangent line, go right in the pocket, and then the follow stroke also goes into the 8 to open this up and give you a shot on the 7. I mean, that's super aggressive one pocket. We see this kind of thing from other top one-pocket players. But he doesn't have defense in mind. He knows that 3 ball's going. And I'm sure he didn't want the cue ball to go that far, but he needed a follow stroke to get the cue ball short. And now he's going to pocket this ball, and he's not just playing to make the ball. He's playing position for these balls. So how many balls is that? He's got 6. Here's 7 coming up for the 8. The 8 ball is ball number 8. But he doesn't care. He doesn't know how many balls he needs. Play position for the 4. See what angle you get on the 4. Oh, I've got an angle to go down for this ball here. I mean, Joshua Filler is just an incredible shot maker. So he's pocketed 10 balls. He doesn't even need them. It's just routine to pocket these balls for a top player like Joshua Filler. Let's go to the next game. How does Joshua do on his second break? Watch that corner ball. The cue ball just barely missed it, and it came out past the first diamond. So not as well, and only one ball in the first diamond zone. So not as well. If I'm Buffy, I'm thinking to myself, boy, this is looking up. I got a better opportunity here. Let me go back and see where the cue ball was. Now, he looked at the passive shot right away, which was move this ball away and just leave the cue ball up here. You're protecting the 11. And since the 11 is in the one pocket, one diamond area, you have something worthwhile to protect. But I'm kind of leaning towards the aggressive zone. You're playing a guy who's going to run 8 and out if you give him any kind of opportunity. Playing passive, he's not going to sell out. You've got to make an opportunity for yourself. That said, I don't know how great of an opportunity he has. The only ball he can aim directly at is the 6. I mean, what are you going to do with that? Are you going to come across the top of the 4 to knock it out and follow the cue ball forward? Really, really risky, difficult, dangerous shot. I don't see much of anything. The only thing that I might prefer, and it's not an aggressive shot, it's a passive shot, and that's to cut the 11 super duper thin. So you're going to move it just a little bit closer to your pocket and then get the cue ball behind these balls. So, yeah, not a great opportunity here. And I don't remember what happens. He knocks the 1 away, and where does the cue ball go? I don't like, that's terrible. I mean, why would you do that? I can see that if you're trying to bring the cue ball here, that's good. Because if you can freeze it there or on the top of this ball, you're accomplishing a whole heck of a lot more. You're taking away a lot of possibilities for your opponent. The danger is if you don't get the speed control right, you bump the 2 ball, sell out a cut on the 7, and then you can sit down while Joshua runs 8 and out. So I'm not convinced that that's the right shot to try and freeze the ball here. But letting the cue ball come off the rail is no good. If all you're gonna do is tap the 1, don't try to move it away from their side. Just leave it on the rail. The closer you can get the cue ball right on the rail, you're forcing your opponent to shoot at the top of the cue ball, and there's less that they can do. From here, Joshua sees this as an opportunity, as he should, which is a carom shot on the 7. And so another carom shot, he's lining it up carefully. Cue ball is going to go forward. He's going to have a shot on the 4 or something else. He'd like the cue ball to hit the top of the 6 and come over here, but pocketing the 7 is, again, child's play. So now, what is the opportunity if you're Joshua Filler, if this is your inning? The only ball you can shoot is the 4. If I'm shooting this shot, I'll tell you what, I do want to run more than one ball. Because think about it this way. If you shoot the 4, you're removing all strength from your side. You no longer have any balls in the 1 diamond zone, and your opponent has 2 balls. For that reason, I know that a lot of one pocket players in this situation, they are not going to shoot this 1. They're going to look at probably kicking the 11 ball or kicking, well, not the 9, but kicking the 11, and you want to keep the cue ball here, or banking the 9 ball into the 11 or across so they can bring the cue ball up and behind the stack. That's a better move, without a doubt. Joshua Filler is a 99% offensive-minded player, like a lot of them are nowadays. And I'm pretty offensive-minded too. I do want to shoot in this instance. But I'll tell you what I'm going to shoot, and this is more of a, once again, a straight pull shot. The 6 ball has a full pocket, and this is a pinch draw. So you're cutting the 6 ball with extreme left English, but a draw stroke. And you probably want to elevate so you can kind of have that masse action to get more draw. But the reason why is the cue ball is going to hit the 14 or split these balls and draw this way. That's the only reason I would shoot it, is because I can get the cue ball over here. You're either going to have a follow-up shot on this combination or the triple combination or shooting the 9 and parking the cue ball directly under the 11. You have an opportunity to accomplish a lot more while keeping a threat in the one diamond zone there. So that's what I would shoot. Joshua Filler is going to shoot the 4 ball and play position back for one of these balls. He's going to play position here. This is an Efren Reyes-like shot. Watch the cue ball. If the left side of the screen was blocked out, I would say, oh, the Efren shot that. Now look at his opportunity. The cue ball didn't come as far as he wanted, but he can shoot the 13, nudge these balls. If the cue ball didn't come as far, he could shoot the 13 and come this way. If the cue ball came farther, he could shoot the 6. This is offensive minded. He has nothing on his mind but running 8 and out. And I'm not going to talk very much from here. He can cut the 5, probably try and either bump the 8 or come far enough that he gets a shot on the 6. And in order to do that, he hit it with speed to go 3 rails. Again, kind of looked like Efren shooting that. Now 6 ball. He's playing. Did you see what he just did? He's processing things so quickly. The first thing he did was point here on the 14. In other words, he wanted to shoot this ball and hit the 14. What's that going to do? The cue ball is going to go this way. The 3 ball is going to go this way. The 14 is going to go this way. His next shot will be shooting this ball. This is straight pool, guys. You got to play straight pool if you want to be a good one-pocket player, because you don't want to shoot this shot and hit this ball full. Then those balls go that way. The cue ball's stuck here and you have no shot. Within a half a second of seeing that, Joshua pointed at the 8 ball because that's a better shot. The cue ball's going to hit the 8. The 8's going to go this way. The cue ball's going to go this way. This is all controlled. And Joshua Filler, by the way, is a 200-ball runner in straight pool. Believe it. This is just an 8 and out. Look at this. Gently shoot the 2 ball to preserve this angle so that when you shoot the 8, your cue ball goes this way, which he didn't quite get. Oh, and that was it. That was his 8 and out. He's out. I hope you enjoyed that. Hope you got something out of it. See you next time on Run of the Week. We'll probably do some one pocket again. Thanks for watching.